So these are the materials here you use, and then you soak your corn husk for 5-10 minutes so it's soft. So you can kind of just squeeze the water out, and then put 3 of them together. Just squeeze some of the water out, and then you just put it together like so and tie it like a 1/2 inch down with a string. And then just cut the ties off. Then fold it over and put a little round styrofoam thingy for the head, and just kind of cover it over so it covers nicely. And you just tie a string around the head like so. Then you try to get the smallest one you can of the bunch. If it's too big, then you can just cut it in half. And you just roll it up. And then tie each end. That's for the arms. Tie the other side. You just have to wrap it a little bit and then tie it. And clip it. And you just take the little things apart and just fit it right in there. Like that. And tie it again. Clip. And you just take two of these and just kind of have it hanging over like so for the skirt, and just wrap it around and then tie it underneath like this. And you just clip them. You just take one and just rip it in half. And just fold it over on each side. Like that, and tie it around the waist. And just clip the ends there. There you have your little corn cup.
Hokshiopi kahapi, corn husk doll. Before beginning to make a corn husk doll, be sure to prepare your thoughts and heart. The Dakota believe that our intentions flow into the things we make, just as the Creator's good intentions become part of each of us. It is our responsibility to hold positive thoughts for a good mind, kindness for happy hearts, and gentleness in our hands as we make our corn husk dolls. These dolls are a likeness of ourselves as human beings, and so we must take this mindful moment to create loving energy. Long ago, there were 3 sisters named Omanicha, which means beans, Wagamu, which means squash, and Wamanaheza, corn. They worked together to provide food to the people. Wamanaheza was the tallest of 3 sisters. From where she grew in the field, she could see the Oyate, the people. Every day, Wamanaheza could watch as all the Wakayaja, the children, would play outside. Corn loved to watch them play. One day, Wamanaheza asked the Creator, who we call Tunkashida, to make the Wakayaja a toy as a gift from her. Tunkashida gathered up all her dried corn husks to make a doll. The doll that was created was the most beautiful that anyone had ever seen. Tunkashida named her Hokshiyopi Kahapi, meaning corn husk doll. Tunkashida made a home near the village for the doll to live in. He told her that every morning she was to walk to the village and play with the children. Hokshiyopi Kahapi entered her new home. That night she dreamed of going to the village to play with all the little Wakayaja. When she woke up the following day, she started her journey towards the Oyate. On her way, she noticed a river. Curious, she walked to the river and saw her reflection. She had never seen herself before at that moment, and she noticed how beautiful she was. She loved seeing herself in the water and wanted to admire her beauty more than she wanted to be with the Wakayaja. Instead of going to the village to play, she stayed by the river and stared at her reflection all day long. At the end of the day, when the sun was starting to set, Tunkashida found Hokshiyopi Kahapi at the river and exclaimed, Hokshiyopi Kahapi, what are you doing? I saw my reflection and I noticed how beautiful I am. So I spent the whole day here admiring myself, she replied. That is not what you were created for. I created you for the Wakayaja. When you wake up tomorrow, go to the Oyate and play with the Wakayaja. That is your duty and your responsibility. This is your first warning, Tunkashida stated. Hokshiyopi Kahapi agreed and followed Tunkashida back to her home to sleep. The next morning, Hokshiyopi Kahapi woke up with the sun and started her walk to the village. She paused at the river to gaze at her reflection again. She was still amazed by her own beauty. She spent the entire day admiring how pretty she was. At the end of the day, Tunkashida went searching for Hokshiyopi Kahapi and found her at the river again. What have you spent your day doing? Tunkashida asks Hokshiyopi Kahapi. She admitted to staring and admiring herself all day long instead of tending to her responsibilities. Tunkashida once again reminded Hokshiyopi Kahapi that she was created to play with the children of the village. Go home and get some rest. In the morning, go to the Oyate to play with the Wakayaja. This is your second warning. Nodding her head in agreement, Hokshiyopi Kahapi told Tunkashida that she promised to do as he had said. When they arrived back at Hokshiyopi Kahapi's home, Tunkashida told her, I reminded you of your responsibilities yesterday at the river, and a second time today. You will not get a third reminder. You are here to play with the Wakayaja. Tend to your responsibilities or there will be consequences. Tunkashida stated before Hokshiyopi Kahapi went inside her home to sleep for the night. The next day, bright and early in the morning, Hokshiyopi Kahapi started on the trail to visit the Oyate. But as she passed the river, she could not help but to stop and look at her beautiful reflection again. She spent the whole day admiring herself. At the end of the third day, when Tunkashida went looking for Hokshiyopi Kahapi, he found her at the riverfront staring at herself. Hokshiyopi Kahapi, what have you done all day? Hokshiopi Kahapi admits for the third time that she spent her days staring at her reflection in the river. Sighing, Tunkashida asked her, Hokshiopi Kahapi, what are your responsibilities? Tunkashida, I know you created me to play with the Wakayaja. She looked down and shamed. I warned you the first day. I warned you a second time yesterday. I told you there would be no third warning. Tunkashida reached out and took away Cornhusk Doll's face so she could not look at herself anymore. To this day, we still make Cornhusk dolls for our children, but we never put a face on the doll. This is to remind us how important our responsibilities are to one another.